Why, hello there, Nice Tail here, bringing you a knife review, full length, full specs, gonna be blathering, gonna be doing the thing. Yeah, so if you want to see the shorter one, wait about a week or so, the specs video will be going up. Consider subscribing me to get notified for that video. It's gonna be much shorter, gonna cover the bases. This is not gonna be that video. Most importantly, though, I hope this finds you well, and I hope you enjoy what you see. This is a review today of the Buck Knives Exert. Buck knives, definitely not in my typical wheelhouse and not what I'm super familiar with, though I have grabbed a couple recently to check out. This is a budget knife. This is an ultra budget knife. Let's just get that out of the way before we even get into specs. This thing is, the initial price for this thing I think was $27. I've seen this thing consistently been. I don't know if it's a Walmart exclusive, but I think it might have been one of those ones that was like made for Walmart. When I've looked at it, it's out of stock currently, but it was $21. I've also seen it at $24 on Walmart during a sale. So it seems to oscillate between $21 and $24 most of the time, though it technically was $27. However, there are other places I've seen this. Atlantic Knife, and is it Knife Country USA or something like that? Oh, Knife Country, I think it was $16, and Atlantic Knife, I think it was $17. Yeah, this is ultra budget. This is gas station tier pricing. This is not a gas station knife. Believe it or not, for what you're looking at here, at even the $27, this is surprisingly quite good. Yeah. Let's just get that out of the way. This is bizarrely good for its price point. So you'll know what you're looking at here. Let's get into specs before I talk any more about this knife and negate the need for any sort of review. But if what you're just looking at is this a decent knife for the price? Holy crap, yes. It's probably one of the best ultra budget knives I've seen. And ultra budget is pretty much anything under like $25, and seeing as this thing tends to top out right around there, well, because like I said, I've never actually, I think it was originally $27, but I've never actually seen it for that price. It's always been under 20, like 24 or less. So, yeah, it's pretty great. Comparisons to our small Civivi Elementum, full-size Civivi Conspirator. As you can see, this is slightly bigger than both, though, of course, I forgot to do the tape measure. It is just a bit less blade length than the Conspirator if we lined it up perfectly. Just a tiny bit. It's pretty close, but it's a little bit less. Since we're here, might as well do the comparison to the AA batteries, which anybody can check out and understand based on the fact that most people have AA batteries. Actual grip length is 1 3/4 AA battery. You can definitely go around the back end if you have big hands and your pinky needs something to hang on to. So you definitely have something to hang on to here. You can also sort of sit up in this choil area, maybe not fully choked up, though you can do it. It's not super comfortable, but it's not uncomfortable at all, just to sort of wrap around this area a little bit. So you definitely have full grip. Checking thickness, and you'll see this is a very thick knife. It is a big boy. And when it comes to the thickness, even if it is still just a sort of full-size knife. Let's get those out of there and get back and do what I should have done to begin with, and that was the specs. The most important specs of, size, the actual numbers. So we've got a little over 3 3/8, just a little under 3 1/2, sort of in between the two. You're kind of looking at, I'm going to call that 3.42 inches of blade. Overall, you're looking 8 1/4, and the handle is 4 7/8, so just under 5 inches. Ratios aren't great. There's definitely a lot more handle than there probably needs to be, but that's anything I'm say on this knife is not a complaint. It is constructive criticism. It is Could it have been done better? Sure. It's perfectly fine the way it is, and it's perfectly fine the way it's been done, especially for this price point and with this level of quality at this price point. I'm just saying, if they wanted to make some maybe potentially objective kind of improvements, there is room, but it's good. So I'm just pointing things out that could be changed if they were to, actually put some more effort into this thing. But who cares? Dog. You just distracted me. 4.53 ounces, not quite an ounce an inch exactly, but I mean, not at all, but it is got full steel liners that have no real skeletonization in there, so the weight is expected. It's not unwieldy or cumbersome or anything like that. Hardware check. You have a T8 pivot, easy enough. I have taken this apart, by the way. T6, everything else, and there are 3, basically, that you have to interface with. You only have to take out one side, and the pivot. T6, especially considering Chinese T6, especially considering super budget Chinese T6, you're probably going to come across some that are stripped out. Let's be honest, it can definitely happen in this tier. These are pretty solid on this particular one, and this particular example of this knife, I had no problem whatsoever. They're decent, they're solid, they feel pretty structurally sound, actually. Like, the teeth feel good. I didn't mess with the pocket clip. It's not reversible, so there's no reason to do that. Just selling T6, not optimal. T8 would be better, but I had no problem, so again, nothing to complain about. I believe that brings us actually to the end of the spec, doesn't it? Yes, everything I've hit, major stuff there. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so what are we looking at? You got a clip point, sort of slight recurve blade here. It's an interesting blade shape, very not buck blade shape. I like it. Lots of belly, but the tip's a little bit high, but you can definitely get to it. It's a good-looking blade, honestly, in my opinion. It is 420 HC blade steel, which is kind of like the shittiest version of 8CR. I mean, it is what it is. As long as it's not 7CR, it's, at this price point, it's fine. Do I, of course, like seeing better steels than 8CR? Yeah, I don't typically like seeing 8CR at all. But Buck likes using it. It's not their boss heat treat, but hopefully it's decent heat treated. It's Chinese 8CR. You never know. However, it still should be better than the usual nameless steel on gas station knives and the 7CR that you typically see. Basically, it's beating the crap out of its usual competitors. So, no big deal there. It's beating the crap out of its usual competitors in every single way. Buck likes putting numbers and shapes. This little dude on there next to the numbers. They tend to do that on like all their knives. This is also a Buck. I don't know why. I don't know what it means, but they put the codes there. They don't put the blade steel on there for some reason, but it is 420. You have. Oh wait, no, I didn't finish specs. I'm out of it today. Woo. Thickness. I talked about how thick this thing was, and it is. It's 678 thousandths handle. The blade stock is a nice 125 thousandths on the dot, and while it is technically hollow ground, so it does have the opportunity to drop down, it's got a decent size edge bevel on there. It's not the thinnest behind the edge. 17, 16. I'll call that about 16 thousandths behind the edge. It could be thinner, especially with the hollow grind. It's not the super deep hollow grind, but it's not super tall either. It's fine. It's better than something that gets super thick, super fast. It does get thick decently fast, but you have an area where it remains reasonable due to the hollow grind for a while, so you're definitely going to get life out of it, which is nice. You're going to have to sharpen a lot. I mean, the edge was just so-so. I will say that a lot of knives lately don't come with great edges, I've noticed, especially getting a lot of these budget knives that I've been getting. I mean, even the expensive ones don't always come with great edges. This is not amazing. It's fine. It came with a decent edge. It cuts pretty decently. It's going to need touch up just because, I mean, it's lost a bit of an edge, but it's 8CR. It's going to do that. I will say the sharpest, one of the sharpest knives that I got was another buck, actually. That sucker was aggressively sharp. That and Kunwu. Those have been some of the better edges that I've gotten recently. This one, it's fine. It cuts. It's held up all right. It's cut a few things. It's a little bit rugged, but again, at the price, it's totally reasonable that you're going to have to touch this thing up. And honestly, despite the fact that I'm picky about the edge not being great in the front, it doesn't really need a touch up yet, so it's already doing better than I expect the HCR. You kind of expect that to be a couple cuts and you need something. It's held up surprisingly well. Sharper control on plunge grind is not great. It's basically hitting the edge. Thank you, Doug. However, they did my favorite thing and included the nub, the tang nub. So the actual stop pin does not have to hit behind the edge. It hits back here behind the nub. So you've got complete access to this tang, which means if you do develop a smile, which you will, it's kind of on the edge already starting right here, you can definitely just Dremel in a little bit of that to get rid of that and reinforce even the actual choke-up position, which, as I talked about, is there. Not the most comfortable thing in the world, but I do feel safe back here as it currently sits. So, and honestly, this is kind of like, if you really just want to sit on this, because it's reasonably comfortable to sit on due to the handle, which we'll talk about in a second, the choke-up's not bad here, though it's perfectly comfortable and reasonable to just hold it in a standard position as well. Buck logo, it's fine. I'm not going to complain about branding on a budget knife of this level, but, I mean, there is quite a bit of branding. Buck. It's there. One thing that's weird is where the swedges are and everything, the edges are nice and soft and chamfered. I mean, not soft. They're still hard edges, but they're very comfortable. However, as soon as you go beyond this point, it's like they didn't touch the edge whatsoever. They just left it the basic, blank steel. It is super aggressively sharp kind of back here on the edges. You can definitely throw tons of sparks off this thing. And so is the opening hole aperture. Very, very sharp edges on this. In fact, that's why it's got a metric ton of fingernail shavings around it. These edges are super sharp. Like they didn't chamfer or soften them at all. Yet they did it up here, which is kind of bizarre. Does it matter? No, it definitely is grippy when you go to open and reverse flick it, but it's definitely going to start eating up your nail. I don't know how I feel about it. It just, I've never seen anything quite this sharp on any knife, but it's not actually hurting anything. Like it's not a problem, and it definitely is better than overly softened and rounded that you just slip out of it. You ain't slipping out of this thing. You touch it, you're stuck in. So is what it is. It's fine. This knife is on Teflon washers, in fact, they didn't look great, but wow, they're actually really good. It's very consistent and very smooth, and I had to take it apart and clean it out inside because it was a little gunky, but once I did and hit them with just a tiny bit of nano oil, and I mean a tiny bit, they broke in almost immediately. And they're excellent. Like, for washer action, yeah, it's pretty darn good. You can thumb flick it, you go low enough and hit the bottom of this thing. You can reverse flick it very easily. The action is actually great. Like, way better than I was expecting. No complaints whatsoever there. Also, no complaints is there's no play in the pivot, and this thing, while the edges, as you can see, there's definitely one side of the edge bevel that is much deeper than the other one. It's centered. No play, centering. Did that immediately. Excellent. The lockup is about 70% maybe. a little further than I'd like it, but it hasn't really moved very much. And it's got a pretty severe kind of like edge, kind of like the lock face kind of, well, it doesn't go straight, it sort of canters around a little bit, so it might provide a little bit of like a stop there. I don't know if that's going to come across on the camera, but so far, very, very solid. No complaints there. The handle itself is also something that I'm not complaining about. First of all, it's got a pivot collar, which is like crazy at this price point. The handle itself is, I think they said it was like a polypropylene, like rubberish finish or texture material. As you can see, it's got a texture in it, pattern, and I don't know why they don't use this more, like on budget knives and stuff. I don't know how it's going to hold up, but it's definitely rubber like feeling, just like a harder rubber with a little bit of give and bounce to it. It feels really good. Like, again, this is something that I could see more budget knives utilizing. It feels good. It looks surprisingly good. This is grippy. Yeah, I actually like this material. I've not seen it on any other knives, and I'm down for it. They've also done inlays on this knife of hard plastic, which provides a nice contrast. Also, the inlays are diamond textured and line textured for some reason. I like textured inlays. I like design inlays instead of just a flat plain inlay. And this one offers tactility and a little bit of grip. It's actually pretty good. It's a decently rough inlay, but it's not too bad. It's very comfortable. It definitely offers something to grip onto. Yeah, the handle. Like, I mean, this is a vastly more interesting and well-designed knife for its price point than you normally see. Hands down. Top notch there. I like it. Grip, comfort. Yeah, it's a little prescriptive grip, but it's very comfortable, very surprisingly forgiving. Like, you can definitely move around on it. You can definitely choke up. The actual grip is, yeah, I've got more than enough. And again, if you have really big hands, I don't see why you couldn't sort of grip around that and still be pretty darn comfortable. Because if you grip around that, the handle extends out, so you still have sort of something to grab onto here. Yeah, there's nothing to complain about. It's a liner lock. It works just fine. I do think I would like to see the no jimping here. And just like a chamfer. I don't like jimped liner locks because whenever you jimp these things, you cut out some of the surface areas that you come in contact with, which means you're coming in contact with the apex of each point more than the rest of it, so you have to push in a little bit further, and that can sometimes be pretty uncomfortable. Not my favorite thing. However, they did soften it decently enough, and it's fine. The jimping on it works usually when you have better access. The access isn't great here. Yes, they gave you like chamfers down here, but they're not deep enough, and they're not going to the area where they allow you to get perfectly from the side. From the side is pretty uncomfortable, honestly. Like, you can see how much you have to push in there. Slight diagonal is where you're at with this thing for disengagement to sort of like almost from the front. It is what it is, but I think just in general the jimping could go away in favor of just a bowl chamfer. But it works. It's fine. It's not overly uncomfortable as long as you don't try to get it completely from the side where you just don't have access from. But yeah, it works. So I'm not gonna say anything about that. It's a functional, easy to pardon me, actuate liner. Ugh. Anybody else dying from allergies lately? Oh, jeez. Ugh. Where were we? Pocket clip. Pocket clip is a deep carry clip, though it's kind of on an angle, and you never get those things being actually sitting on an angle, so it's kind of like that in the pocket, which is medium depth. You definitely have something to grip onto. It's not hard to get in a pocket. Actually, the handle material having some grip and the lanyard hole back here, you sort of kind of hit it with your fingers and it provides additional traction. So getting in and out of the pocket, you definitely have no problem there. However, I will say the pocket clip is very not tall. It's very low. And it's directly over top of the diamond texturing. So this thing is going to be kind of a bitch in and out of thicker pants. You can do it. And fortunately, there is good flex on this pocket clip. And there's not too much of a flat at the end. So it's surprisingly functional despite being, lower than you might like. It might not sit all the way. It might sit like down here, which is kind of approaching shallow carry, but you should be able to get it in at least up to about here with no major issue unless you're doing real thick pants. But because it has so much flex here, I don't think it's going to do anything other than it will probably start to eat up your pants, but it works fine. It is also very comfortable pocket clip. Like, yeah, because it sticks up like this, you'd think it'd be pretty bad, but no, it's positioned and shaped, and it's very comfortable in my hand. I can just barely feel the pocket clip for the most part, and it's not getting in the way of cutting. Like, I'm fine here. So they've kind of got best of both worlds, actually, where it's still comfortable and they didn't make it too tall, but it's a little bit tight. Blade to handle ratio is not great. There's definitely a lot of handle that honestly didn't need to be there, probably about that much. If they had moved these this bottom standoff just up a little bit, they could probably have gotten it into about here and cut off all of this, which is all but this much of the lanyard hole pretty much would be gone. Could they have improved that? Sure. Is it really a big deal? No. And as I said, the lanyard hole does actually provide a little bit of additional traction when you're pulling it in and out of the pocket. So it serves a purpose. No big deal. Just know the ratios aren't like perfect. If you're a stickler about that thing and that's going to bother you, well, I mean, it is what it is. But if it bothers you for $20, you might have some other problems. You're going to find something everywhere, right? If you're going to be that picky. I might be that picky. No. And again, there is a large lanyard hole for those who want that. I don't necessarily think it's necessary on this knife, but it's there. So, overall, this is very, very recommendable, actually. This is a very good budget knife. This is approaching, again, gas station knife prices. This could be, at this time of year, a stocking stuffer, all kinds of things. It's came in one of the plastic, not this one, but it came in a actually, no, this is it. I forgot I had this. Yeah, there we go. 420, easy opening, all-weather grip. Yeah, $780 Exert. This is it. I thought this was the other one. They say it's about 3.5 inches, just a tiny bit under that, 420 HC steel. Polypropylene, I was right. Polypropylene with tactical overmold. Industry standard, hard, 58 hardness. That is definitely low. Definitely not what I want to see, but 58 is technically a standard reasonable hardness for 8CR. 58 to 59 is definitely where you're going to find most decently heat-treated 8CR. If it was like 57 or something like that, then you'd start having issues. That's where a lot of Chinese 8CR... But if they're saying it's standard, and they go to the extra length of like making sure that it's that, which, considering the Boss heat treat and Buck's consistency with 8CR, hopefully this is true. If it's 58, it should be fine. I totally forgot I had that stupid thing there. This is great. This is excellent for its price point. This is a very good budget knife. This thing would be a good budget knife in slightly better steel. $10 more than it is. Even like $10 more than $25. This would be a solid knife. If you had a slightly better steel on it. This thing is really good. I'm very surprised, very happy with this. It's doing everything right. It is, even if there's like a little bit of hiccup in execution, like quality, sure, but at this price point, you're going to see that in most budget knives, and this thing is doing everything else much better. So, yeah, almost gas station knife that is pretty freaking stellar. Don't have anything else to say. I've taken enough time. I will see you guys in the next one. I very much so hope. I very much so hope more like this, which is not something I ever thought I'd be saying about a buck. It's great, and I'm done with the review, I think. I may have missed something. I'm scatterbrained here today. Like I said, the allergies are kicking my ass. They have been. I've been sick. Just not having a great time. But I'm trying, and I'm continuing to bring content to you guys. And I hope someone out there is enjoying it. Have a great time. Have a great day. Have a great holiday. Whatever you may celebrate. Though, let's be honest, the proper term is Merry Christmas. No matter what you celebrate, the proper term is Merry Christmas. I like that. I prefer Merry Christmas. I don't know why. It just sounds better to me. Happy holidays. No, screw you. Merry Christmas. I think because this is a completely off-topic tangent, but I think just because Christmas here in the U.S. is what defines the feel and the vibe of the holidays and the decorations and all of everything like that, even if you don't celebrate it, it just feels right. I do celebrate it, but I don't care what you celebrate. Just, I like the term. So, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, enjoy, have a good time. Hopefully your family is fun and nice and doesn't drive you crazy, and if they do, well, you can come stay with me and see these knives. Distract yourself, right? Maybe you can get your family into knives. Probably not with my channel, but who knows? Someone crazy out there might be doing something enjoyable. I will see you guys later. Sorry for the end rant or end nonsense. Who knows? Have a great one. I'll see you next one.